So we are almost done. There's just a few suggestions that I wanted to mention. I mention these every time I do one of these workshops. The first is what I do personally, which is to sort of maintain template files with placeholder variables that you can use to easily reference these plots when you need them. So it's the case that like people don't memorize all of these lines of code of ggplot in order to like type it out every time. It's much easier to just have a template that you can reference and call in order to like generate your plots. That way, like you don't need to necessarily like maintain headspace to like remember exactly what everything does. You could just like know like if I swap out these variables, it will reliably generate this plot. Short of that, if that doesn't work, Google is your best friend, of course. I think everything you could do in R has some sort of a tutorial online. What I do is just maintain a folder, a bookmarks folder with all of these like blogs, tutorials, worksheets, everything that like I reference pretty often. And I know that like if I'm running into some sort of an issue, the solution probably exists within this bookmarks folder. When you're going through those tutorials and you find code that looks really interesting or looks like code that you can use, definitely use other people's code. You really don't have to reinvent the wheel with a lot of these plots. Chances are, not only does like a tutorial exist, but there's probably like a Stack Overflow entry for any sort of a problem that you might run into. So, check that and make sure to use other people's code, and also just have patience too. It's the case that like I think no matter how advanced you get in R, you're still gonna like wind up having to troubleshoot things. I mean, like during the development of like this whole Shiny app bit, the reactive visualizations, I had to like go back and look up dplyr, really basic dplyr syntax because I just couldn't remember it. So like, yeah, it's really important that you have patience when you're trying to develop these because it's very rare that it just like all snaps right into place. There are some R alternatives that I mentioned early on. If like this just really didn't do it for you today, you just like really hated the process of developing a ggplot, maybe you like hated the syntax or something, Python is a perfectly reasonable alternative. It's got a really great visualization library. As a matter of fact, I believe that Plotly was originally developed in Python and then was ported to R. So, you could use that as well. And then there's also Adobe Illustrator for those who really don't enjoy coding, who might do better with sort of graphic user interfaces. But again, R is near and dear to my heart. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else, but that's for a separate issue. Yeah, so that is it. Again, hopefully you guys have a good sort of basic understanding or a good starting place to start off with these sort of interactive, reactive, and animated plots. I've mentioned a few times throughout the tutorial today, but I really think that we are in a place where these visualizations can be really helpful, not only in academia, but like if you go into industry or anything like that. I mean, like they're eye-catching, they are higher dimensionality. You can like visualize changes over time in a way that you just like really couldn't with the static plot. They can facilitate learning with like interactive and reactive visualizations. So yeah, I really think that the importance of these techniques are really going to grow, only going to grow with time. So yeah, thank you very much for getting through all of it. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to my email there, or you can attend the COG office hours, which I believe are currently Wednesdays from 10 to noon. I don't know if they will be by the time you watch this video, but yeah, thank you very much.